If you're a producer trying to get your music placed in TV and film, you may be asked to create a 15-second, 30-second, or 60-second version of your track. And if you don't do this right, you'll end up wasting everybody's time, including your own. And you don't want to do that. So I'm going to show you exactly how I do it in a way that gives editors exactly what they want. So I'm going to open up a session here so you can kind of see it for yourself, and I'll kind of break down how I do it. So I like to work backwards a lot. Even when I'm structuring a track, I usually start basically from the end, and then I kind of work my way backwards. So I'll start with like the hook and its fullest point, and then I'll kind of work backwards and then build and subtract things to structure it. But when I'm creating these versions, the mistake I made when I first got started in sync, I was creating a separate session. I was like copying the main session and then like manually cutting down and deleting things and like manually creating these versions. And I just didn't have to do it that way. Especially once I learned this neat little trick in Logic Pro that allows me to bounce out a selected region or range in my track. So basically what I like to do is I start from the end of the track and I'll turn on this range slash loop feature here, or cycle range thing in Logic. And I start from basically the end. So anytime I'm bouncing out the full track, I'm bouncing out all the way up until the track finishes ringing out, so that they get that natural ring out at the end of the sting ending. And the reason why I'm starting from the end of the track is because I want to make sure in every version, 15, 30, or 60-second version, I'm including a sting ending. That is what makes these smaller edits functional and usable for editors. So what a sting ending is basically this part here. So we want to make sure every version has that. That's why I'm starting at the end, and we want to make sure it finishes that ring at the end as well. So that's good. If we end it too soon, it won't finish and it'll abruptly cut off like this. And it just sounds like somebody literally just cut it off. They don't like that. You want that to naturally finish ringing out. Okay, so once you establish the endpoint, then I kind of work backwards. I turn this on. And then what I'm looking for is the length. So you see this little window pop up. You see cycle range left. You see length. You see right. I'm looking at length, and I'm looking at that second row of numbers next to length until it says 15 seconds. And that's my 15-second edit. Now, I don't like to start in weird places like this. I like to start with a downbeat if I can, somewhere where there's like a kick or like a snare that kind of starts it. I would prefer to start here. But as you can see, I'm kind of at that 16-second mark. And when they're asking for 15, 30, 60, try and make it 15, 30, and 60 because they're using these for those specific length spots. So you want to make sure that it's accurate, right? And get it as close as possible. So this is 16, not really working out. And what I do is I just kind of play around with this. I'll see what 30 looks like. I'll see what 15 looks like. If I have to do a 60, I'll kind of see what that looks like. So a 60's ending is right about here. That 60's not bad. So my 60 works, my 30 works because my 30's right here. That starts right at the beginning. So I would bounce this as my 30-second version. It's clean. It's a clean start and it's a clean ending, right? And then the other option I have, and this is kind of baked into how I built this track and how I structure a lot of my tracks for TV and film. I go in detail on how I structure things inside the Sync Producer Hub. The link is in the description if you want to go deeper into that. But I set this up to where I have a couple options. So I have a sting ending here, right? But I also have a second sting ending that I can use. And sometimes this comes in handy when creating versions because it can give me a slightly different length if I can't quite get that 15 or that 30. And it gives me a different start and end point. So because I have a sting ending here, it's kind of like an alternate sting ending. It's a little more minimal than the final one, but I can still use it. So if I end it here, it's clean up until this point. So now I'm going to just adjust this and see if I can get a 15, a clean 15. So 16, I might be able to have a little wiggle room. So let's see how clean that is. So that's pretty clean. And then if I needed to clean it up more, I could possibly do a little fade. Not like a fade that you would hear audibly, but just making sure there's no extra reverb or delay happening just to make sure that's clean. Sometimes if I'm like right here, I may come in with a riser, right? And maybe, just mute some of these other things, come in with the riser. And it's still a clean ending, even though I'm not like right on a like coming in with a kick. So sometimes I will have to do that and make that adjustment, but it's still clean because it's kind of starting with that riser, and it's not like starting like here or like just random spots. You don't want it to be random, preferably a downbeat. So I can get my 15-second version from here. And that works. And that's, having that second sting ending comes in handy for things like that. And then I can just use that section of the song. Or if I wanted to do the 30 and the 60, I probably won't be able to get 60 from this, but I can definitely get 30 here. If I started here and then ended here, I would just mute this riser so that's not coming in at the end. And then I got another 30 seconds. So definitely have options to do that depending on how you structure out your track and depending on the length of the edits that they need. Now, this varies. Like every publisher won't ask you for, a 15, a 30, a 60. They may ask you for a 30 and a 60, or they may ask you for a 15 and a 60 or a 15 and a 30. It'll vary from publisher to publisher. So, don't take this as like I have to create all these versions for every single publisher. It depends. And there are some publishers where you just send them the stems and they will create all the versions that they want to create. So it really just depends on who you're working with. But I want you to at least know how to do this if you are responsible for creating these different versions. That way, you're not blindsided and you're doing it the right way so that you're creating versions that editors can actually use. If you want to see full sync placement breakdowns from actual placements, then click the link in the description. Check out Sync Producer Hub. That's where we go deeper. And if you want to learn the next mistake to avoid as a producer making music for TV and film, check out this next video.